Episode 14 of the case study of Vanitas definitely felt like a very long episode, and I loved every minute of that. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with something feeling like a long episode, but yeah, both the spicy bits of it at the very beginning and some actual insights into not only Chloe, but also Ruthin and Jean, which I thought was kind of interesting. But at any rate, this is my thoughts on the episode, so let's jump into it. Yes, opening up the episode, quite a bit of a little spicy encounter between Jean and Vanitas. A really cute little scene too, because again, this is in that area of Jean where it really feels like she doesn't really know how to react to people, but specifically romantically, so she's obviously always kind of charging into a situation, but not really realizing what it means in the end. So despite her really kind of jumping into helping Vanitas, he's been injured. Obviously, he's injured because he was protecting her. So she wants to do whatever she can to help him out. So they have this whole scene where they're, again, alone inside this cabin, and she's stripping him, and they're having to bundle up together. But at the same time, getting a little bit of knowledge into what Chloe means to Jean, as we find out that Jean knew Ruthven through her parents. And again, this kind of calls back to episode 11 of Vanitas, where they had this whole little scene with Noe talking to Ruthven, and he kind of mentioned the idea that, you know, I feel like I'm a student, like I'm your student, you feel like a teacher. And so he kind of divulged to him at that point, you know, yes, I once taught people. I used to travel around with people and kind of instilled knowledge upon them and, you know, made them question things. But unfortunately, as he mentions, this was a time in which humans and vampires were still fighting, and so he asks, you know, where your students are now, and he says they're all dead. So that pretty much implies that Ruthven once traveled with Jean's parents, and at some point, they died. I mean, that's what I would kind of imply there, which would explain why Jean now pretty much serves Ruthven. She has no parents, and so she's probably just been following him. But anyway, back to this episode. Jean talks about the fact that at one point they would leave her at this castle in this area, and she would meet with this girl named Chloe. And Chloe was this very beautiful, very young-looking girl that apparently was older than Ruthven himself. So you can assume that she's doing something to retain her youth. But they used to hang out on a regular basis, and she used to always kind of cry over the fact that she'd have to leave her. But then she would say, and the next time that we met, I was being sent to kill her. And she failed to do that, and now she's going to do that. And this is that point in which Vanitas realized, you know, okay, so she's not here out of anger. She's here out of, you know, wanting to help her. Like, she failed to release her at this point, and she needs to do it now. So Vanitas does like that idea. Like, you know, this isn't about, you know, anger or anything like that, which, you know, I guess could kind of coincide with what he's doing. And as he's contemplating this, he's, you know, getting a little dehydrated, so she's getting some liquid for him. And this is interesting because at this point, he calls out to Lou. And at the time, she's trying to figure out, well, who is this Lou person that he's speaking about? The only person I could think of that he's possibly talking about is Louis de Sade, the person that was in Noe's past. This person that, again, kind of was giving us a little bit of an introduction to that downfall into the cursed vampire. So I don't know how... I don't think that they've established any sort of connection between Vanitas and Noe's past at this point, but it is interesting. Yeah, that's when we get her basically forcing him to drink, and all that kind of stuff just builds up to the next morning when they wake up and he's outside with, what's his name? Johan, and she is just absolutely losing it because she's realizing all this stuff that she's done for him, and trying to, I guess, apologize to herself. Like, you know, look, I had to do this. I'm safe, right? But yeah, that kind of leads to an interesting conversation as Dante shows up and Vanitas really kind of pushes on them. Look, what aren't you telling me? Why is there vampires? Why are you guys here? Why is the church here? What exactly is going on? You need to tell me the full truth. You said you'd give me all the information I wanted, and you're obviously keeping something from me. Which is interesting because he had Johan getting a little angry there, like, don't mess with my family. Seems like a really interesting relationship between all the half vampires. It was interesting because as they're gonna, you know, go forward and Dante's gonna give him what information he has, he kind of tells Jean, you know, look, let's go because you want this information too, don't you? And you have this little inner conflict with Jean because she's obviously trying to do what she's told by Ruthven, but she's obviously in a conflict because she does want to do something more than just kill Chloe, obviously. I mean, that's a given. If she could probably save Chloe, she wants to save her, but she's under orders. And again, this goes back to the whole situation with Ruthven, at least what I am getting from that whole scene, again, with Noe and Ruthven, was that he has the ability to control whoever he bites. And so I don't know if it's going to get into an idea of Jean eventually breaking out of the control that he already has, or just the fear that she has that she will eventually have to do what he says. But obviously they know that Chloe has Noe and the Book of Vanitas. Again, Vanitas won't acknowledge the idea that he's worried about Noe, but yeah, that's when we cut over to Noe, and he wakes up and his blood's being drunk by Chloe. And not only that, but she wants more. And we have this goofy little thing where we don't really know much about him yet, but this Jean-Jacques that is taking care of Chloe is a little bit jealous. Asks her whose blood she likes more. I'm like, well, that's just a little bit of we're insinuating something there, but that's just how vampires work. It's that whole kind of very sensualizing, I guess, the whole blood-sucking process. But yeah, they eventually say, get your stuff ready and come to this, come downstairs and we'll talk. And that's when he comes down there and finds, like this very weird orchestra of people, which I immediately was trying to tie into the charlatans, but pretty much confirmed when he asks, how do you know my name? And she's like, well, Nynia told me. That's when Nynia shows up, which, definitely puts it in a pickle spot, which I guess we technically knew this based on the ending of the first season, or the first part, is that this Nynia was kind of talking to Chloe. And so the assumption there was that Nynia and the charlatans was going to be involved somehow with Chloe. But it definitely puts Noe in a very bad spot, obviously. Leave Noe to really kind of not really get the situation that he's in. This Jean-Jacques guy says, come downstairs when you get clothed, and he's like, I mended it and cleaned your clothes, and he's like, such a nice guy. But yeah, overall, solid episode. Again, I think the key points here, obviously, is seeing Jean getting completely thrown off, as usual. Every time she's completely thrown off, I love it. No, but nor so, we get, actually, technically, Vanitas was quite thrown off. This was not a situation, even though as forward as he is, even here he was thrown off. So that at least tells you that he has his limits. But at the same time, just, again, getting a possible connection between Noe and Vanitas' past through Lou, which, again, I'm assuming is Louis. Or Lou. Louis? I think it's Louis. Getting a little bit more insight into Chloe and at least her connection with John in the past. Ruthven and his connection with, what we talked about before with Noe and his conversation about teaching the people. And now, leaving us in a really bad spot in the end, but at least we kind of know where they're at, because Jean obviously knows where Chloe was when she first met her, this castle, so at least they know where to go. But this season's gonna be just full of stuff. I just really feel it, so we'll see. But that's my thoughts on episode 14 of the case study of Vanitas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video if you can, support us on Patreon, or throw a tips link in the description below. Definitely appreciate everybody that does. And y'all take care.